Here's a quick example of how you can solve a one-step equation that has mixed numbers for coefficients. And I'm just going to kind of walk through it. All right, so we're going to start by writing out the equation we have, which is negative 1 7/8 times x equals 4 1/2. All right, so step one, done. Step two, we're going to write the mixed numbers as improper fractions. All right, so I'm doing 8 times 1 plus 7, and that makes 15/8 x, and now I have to make sure I bring down that negative with it, equals 4 1/2 would be the same as 9/2. All right, we got step two done. Now that we have those written as improper fractions, we can multiply each side by the reciprocal. Right? This is the new step we looked at today in class. We can take this and multiply it by the reciprocal of negative 15/8. So that would be negative 8/15. We're just flipping the top and the bottom, flip the numerator and denominator. But if you do that, you've got to make sure that you're doing that on the other side of your equation as well. And again, I'm multiplying it by the negative because it doesn't matter if the negative goes with the 8 or the 15, but the 15/8 is negative and 8/15 is negative. So we're multiplying that by its reciprocal. The reason that we do that is so that when I multiply across, if I did 8 times 15, that would be 120. And it was a negative times a negative, so that's a positive. And then 15 times 8, also 120. And all of that times x equals, on the right-hand side, I'm going to go 9 times negative 8, which is negative 72, and 2 times 15, which is 30. Now I've got some simplifying to do, but we're just about done here. All right, I have 120 over 120 times x, so that's just 1, right? That cancels out. That equals 1. And then negative 72 over 30. Well, I'm looking at this thinking, well, I know these are both even, so I can for sure divide both of these by 2. And that leaves me with 15 on the bottom and 35, 36, negative 36 on the top. All right, and then I'm going to look at this and say, well, oh, you know what? I know another number. These are both divisible by 3. And so when I do that, let's see, I get negative 12 over 5. Okay, those don't have any common factors, so that has to be my answer, negative 12/5. Or you can keep it or turn it into a mixed number, negative 2 and 2/5. So it looks like a lot of steps there. I kind of showed a lot more than you maybe need to, and I'll show one more example if it helps. All right, let's try to solve this equation to figure out what x is. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to rewrite our mixed number as an improper fraction, and that would be 3 times 1 plus 2, so 5 over 3x equals 7/8. All right, so I just renamed 1 2/3 as 5/3. My next step then is I could either divide both sides by the coefficient, which is divide both sides by 5/3, or kind of a more efficient way to do that is I can multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which would be 3 over 5. See how I did that? And then I know 3 times 5 would be 15, and 5 times 3 would be 15, which is why we picked that number to multiply by, right? So 15 over 15 would equal x. Or, sorry, 15 over 15 equals 1, and that's 1x, equals 7 times 3 makes 21, 8 times 5 makes 40, and there are no common factors that I can divide out, so that is my simplified answer.